Notifications taken here. There we go. All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 3 of NASCAR by the Numbers. Got the usual folks on here, myself, including NASCAR Opinion.
What's going on, man? I've been so energized. I'm kicking myself because I should have been at this race. I was at yesterday's race. I was at the Xfinity race, which was another good race. And then originally, me and my dad, we had said all year we're going to go to this race. We kept saying it. We're going to go. I'm not missing this race. We went to last year's inaugural Roval race. And then I messed around and just kept delaying getting tickets. And then this month I had brakes to get on my car and all this. So I'm like, I really don't need to spend another $300 on tickets because ticket prices were ridiculous for this weekend. At least if you wanted where my dad wants to sit. If my dad's going, he's going to try to sit where he can see everything. So I ended up staying at the house. We missed the best race of the season. My favorite driver who I've been to 30, 35 NASCAR races. I've never seen my favorite driver win an event while I'm there. And obviously that also takes place today with the NASCAR, which we'll get into. I'm just energized, man. Race of the year. So much to talk about. NASCAR's buzzing right now with during the race, after the race. There's a lot to talk about. Let's get straight up into it. What you want to start with?
I don't even know. There's so much to talk about. I mean, I guess let's just start off with the winner. Let's start off with the winner, Chase Elliott. He dominated this race. That was more of an impressive win than I think Watkins Glen was.
It's so far it's been the most impressive win of his career. It's the least dominating, most dominant win that you could probably have.
Yeah.
And it kind of came out of nowhere. He messed up in qualifying, and I can't even remember where he started.
I think he started 19th.
Right. He qualified middle of the field. But then final practice, his car just went on. And it's noticed he was fastest in final practice. Blazing fast. Starting mid-pack, though, you kind of forgot about it. Practice is practice. We see guys lead practices from time to time, and then in the race they might not do anything. Comes all the way up, and I'm not talking about just racing hard and got the lead. I'm talking about flying past the guys like he's got an extra cylinder in the car. I'm talking about looks faster in the corners, which is why I'm so nervous because as we speak right now, nothing is official yet. Nothing, we haven't heard back from Tech. As a 9-team fan, I'm nervous, even though I think everything will be fine. We haven't seen a Cup Series winner be disqualified. It just makes me nervous how good that car was. And then he goes out and lap 75 just crashes. It's like it was never there. And, I tried to make light of it. I'll say.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, we are experiencing some technical difficulties right now. All right.
See if we can get Armani back on here. I'm assuming I'm still live.
Yeah, we're so good. Can you hear me? I don't know if you could. Can you hear me? Well, just like the race, this video is also going kind of chaotic also.
There we go.
Okay, good. Finally.
Are we back?
All right, just like the race, this stream is going chaotic.
So where we were, because this is chaotic. This stream is kind of like what Chase Elliott did and just completely missed it. Just like it was never there, never started, never happened. He's already ran 70 some odd laps, done went through 2 or 3 restarts. Just go straight to turn 1. Just like it wasn't even a road course. Just locked them up.
We're using it's like the Coke 600.
And if it was the Coke 600, he had the best restart of his life. But it wasn't. And I promise you right now, and this also makes me worried about going through Tech because he made contact. I have no clue how that car still had a front clip. I obviously I understand the physics. There were tires there. There were this, but how do we have a wall that doesn't even do damage? Like, his car was fine. I was just looking for the whole front nose to be caved in, liquids running everywhere. Just put it in reverse and kept going.
Yeah, like when I was like, okay, he hit the wall. Harvick and Truex is gonna go away, run away from it, and then I hear Chase Elliott's up 12 spots, and I'm like, wait, what?
Well, we were watching it. Like, me and my fiance, we had our eyes on him because, I mean, that's our favorite driver. So when he put it in reverse and kept going, I'm like, I think he's going to be able to continue. And I remember tweeting, I'm like, at that point, I thought even if he was going to continue, I thought something has to be messed up in the car. Even though the whole front clip may not be gone, there's going to be something in the suspension. Something's going to be off with that race car. He just went in that wall. Even if he slowed down 50 miles per hour, 60 miles per hour into that wall. Okay. Because he went from 110 trying to slow down. So he was carrying some speed. And he's just picking up spots. Like, it's just video game style out there, just passing everybody. And then,
like, it's that 3-4.
You're right. My fiance was like, he's up to 17th. He's up to 15th. I'm like, don't want to talk to me when he's in the top 10. Then we get a caution. Starts back. Now he's 8th. Now he's coming up to the field. Then he's in the top 5. The cautions definitely helped. I will say that.
I didn't know so much about the caution. Like, we had like that string of like 3-4 cautions at like every lap. Like, I was like, okay, he's still in 4th. He's still in 4th. He's still in 4th. And then he got to 3rd. And I'm like, he's going to get around Truex. And if he gets through Kevin Harvick, this is the best comeback I think I've seen from anybody. Because he basically pulled a Brad Keselowski, and he survived and won the damn thing.
This is why it's been the most impressive win of his career so far, because just the composure, first of all, let's look at it. You had the look of it. We saw guys making mistakes, and especially in the closing laps of those races, cars were getting torn up, people were spinning, people were crashing. So he's fortunate enough he misses all of that, makes it up to the front. And then he's battling the best in the business this sport has to offer. Martin Truex Jr., Kevin Harvick, guys like that up front, and he just drives by him like it's nothing. And that's how good that car was today. I don't know what's been up with Chase Elliott. When I started cheering for the 9 car, the last thing I expected was him to be a road course guy. He wasn't a guy that, at least from my knowledge, he didn't grow up running road course races. And it doesn't matter how good his dad may have been. That doesn't translate to you being good behind the wheel. Obviously, we know his dad's a pretty good road course race driver too. I think they both actually won races this weekend. I think his dad won some race yesterday. Then Chase wins today. I was just mind blown by how good that car was and how good Chase was today.
Yeah, going back to Chase Elliott's dominance, like, if you would have told me in 2017 that it's like, oh wait, Chase Elliott's going to be like the road course ringer, because like he didn't do that well at the except before, like he didn't really do that well. Is it maybe something where it's like Chase Elliott and like, I'm probably getting a little bit too technical into this. Maybe like Chase Elliott and the Camaro are just like a good combination for the road course races, because he wasn't really doing anything when he was driving the old model.
I don't have his stats in front of me. I know he's always been decent at road courses, but I don't think he won any in the Xfinity Series. I don't have his stats in front of me, so I could be completely BS in all of this. He's always been solid, but I think the win at Watkins Glen, it's weird what confidence will do to you. And I think Hendrick's obviously got a very solid road course program. We've seen Jimmy Johnson have multiple wins. We've seen Jeff Gordon, what he did. Jeff Gordon's still arguably the best road course driver we've ever seen in NASCAR. Hendrick knows what they're doing. They have setups. They know what they're looking for. And I think Chase winning Watkins Glen last year gave him confidence. We saw what it did to carry him to 2 more wins last year. This year he goes out and pretty much dominates Watkins Glen. And I think when you have that mentality that I know he knows the cars are good, but when you all of a sudden also give the driver the mentality to know I'm good enough to win this race, I mean, that's a combo right there. Look at how many guys we've seen struggle at road courses and then they win one race and all of a sudden they're great. I remember Jimmy Johnson used to never be a road course guy. I think he won one race in Sonoma, and then that same year he won Watkins Glen.
No, he hasn't won Watkins Glen. He's still winless at Watkins Glen.
I thought he swept, but I could have been wrong. He wins Sonoma, and then every single year, all of a sudden, Johnson was a guy to watch at road courses. Martin Truex Jr. was relatively middle of the pack here at a road course. think it might have been Sonoma again, gets a win in the 56 Napa car.
Yeah,
All of a sudden,
2013.
everywhere you see Martin Truex Jr., he's battling for road courses. Kyle Busch, prior to 2008, was never really a road course driver. 2008, I'm fairly certain he did sweep the road courses that year. All of a sudden, Kyle Busch, now he's a road course driver. It's like when you know you have the equipment and you get the confidence of winning at a road course, it does something to you. Now, if Chase follows the trends, what'll most likely happen is he'll stay hot for another year or two of the road courses, and then he'll just dive bomb like everybody else seems to do. like Jimmy did at Charlotte. Remember back in the day, he could do no wrong at Charlotte. That doesn't happen anymore. I don't get it though. I thought short tracks would be kind of Chase's wheelhouse, and it's all of a sudden it's road courses. 3 of his 6 career wins, assuming this one holds when Tech passes. Half of his wins are at road courses.
All right, so that's our talk of Chase Elliott. Let's take a look at the point situation. Let's talk about, before we get to the actual point, let's talk about the playoff battle for like those final few transfer spots. Ryan Newman, man.
Newman. I feel so bad. I was gutted for Newman. Everybody craps on Newman all the time. But, I mean, how could you not cheer for that team? They're a team that wasn't supposed to make the playoffs. They're a team that, okay, they made the playoffs, but there's no way they're making the round of 12, right? I mean, as much as I got the pick. I was both right and wrong. I got the pick right. I picked the 6 car being eliminated. I think all my other 3 I was wrong on. I'm not sure who my 4th. I know I had 2 of the Hendrick cars out. That didn't happen. But at the same time, earlier today, I was like, Newman's making it. He's 14 points. I don't understand where he lost all his points at. I mean, I guess stage points he didn't. Clint Boyer, I just want to tip of the cap. I've sat there and said for a week, Clint Boyer's going to find a way in. He's going to do what Clint Boyer does. He's going to get stage points, and that's what saved his entire race. I mean, Clint Boyer also had a good finish, but Clint Boyer did exactly what he needed to do, ran top 10 all day, got stage points. I think he finished in the top 5. Clint Boyer did exactly what he had to do. And that ended up being really what killed the team like the 16 is they didn't – I can't remember if Newman got a bunch of stage points. I don't think he did. I can't remember if he got any. And then he's just battling. But then when he missed the chicane, it's like I just sank. All day we had a battle, and it was setting up to be a hell of a finish because you had Newman – getting chased by Almirola, and Almirola wasn't going to get there, but he's got to at least try, right? I mean, you got to see what can happen. And Ryan Newman was going to block or wreck the 10 car to save his life. And then he missed the chicane, and it was all over with.
Also, shout out to the man, Thomas Burton in the chat. He said Tech is complete. Chase is officially the winner. No issues with any of the playoff drivers.
Yeah.
Well, think about this also. The fact that he's out officially the winner, it probably makes it even more sour needed to go to the race. Because think about it. If Chase would have failed Tech, then he would have been like, okay, at least,
Right. I would have been heartbroken. But, exactly. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, conspiracy. I don't think they were going to throw the 9 car anyways. But, it is what it is. We'll save that conspiracy for another day.
Yeah, exactly. All right, but yeah, let's go on to – so, yeah, like Ryan Newman, man, like first it was a battle between him and Boy. Then between him and Almirola. Then him, like, so many drive, like what was it? Blaney, Bowman, Boyer. He was basically to the good after the end of stage 2. But like Blaney,
at the beginning, you had Byron that was also in this mix. Byron was nowhere near being safe.
Yeah, it's like so many drivers, just like blow color. And then the end, it came down between Alex Bowman, Eric Almirola, and Clint Boyer. Clint Boyer and Eric Almirola. I mean, basically half the cars are destroyed. And then Alex Bowman, he's running second to Chase Elliott. Like, there's nothing he could do unless he wins the damn thing. And because, Chase Elliott basically had the T-Rex car, like, he ain't getting caught. So, basically Bowman's like, all right, he's got to hope that Almirola and Newman, they just die. And then Newman misses the chicane. And then Almirola, he's running like 25th. And then I do want to say it was more crazier than last year's because, I mean, in my opinion, last year's cough battle was more eventful because, he had Larson, literally smacking every wall known to man.
Well, what really killed this year was just Newman missing the chicane. I think if Newman doesn't miss the chicane, I think at some point you see the 6 and the 10 get into it because the 10's got to do whatever he's got to do. And Newman, for damn sure, is going to do what he's got to do. And so I think that's what killed it. And because that was the battle. I mean, the entire battle was Newman cannot lose this spot. And that's where the battle was. And if Newman doesn't miss the chicane, we're just in the same situation as last. Well, actually, we're the opposite because last year you had Almirola on offense. This year you had Newman who was going to be on defense. So, last year was both years have been a perfect recipe. Guys on the very last lap, battling for positions, battling to try to make it in. God, if freaking Newman just wouldn't have missed the chicane.
I mean, you saw how hard they were battling too, like going into the chicane on the front stretch. Like I think he and Almirola, they were literally beating and banging in the chicane side by side. And I think Newman even was almost like completely turned Almirola coming out of the chicane. Like that. But at the end of the day, I mean, none of them make it. Like Newman gets eliminated, Almirola gets eliminated, Kurt Busch gets eliminated, which I think is the biggest shocker, and Eric Jones gets eliminated.
What I don't get is the one team didn't do anything different. They did nothing to try to separate themselves. I don't feel bad for Kurt Busch and that team at all. There was one situation where we saw pit strategy where they literally could have stayed out. Oh, no. I think it was like 10 to go or whatever, one of those late cautions. And even though it wasn't going to probably change their destiny, they could have, like the first top 15 stayed out. He could have been the first car that pitted, gotten fresh tires, and come back out. And I get it. It may have not made a difference, but what did you have to lose? Come out, get fresh tires. We've seen, and see, that was the question the first half of the race. Was Chase Elliott's car really that good, or was it just that good because he had fresh tires? Obviously, it both helped, but it turned out his car was the best. But those fresh tires make a little bit of a difference, especially at a road course. The one car, they didn't do nothing special this year. It's like they didn't try to transfer. Don't really feel bad for them. Jones had even more trouble. What he's going to ever have to do to get past the round of 16, I have no clue. And then we talked about Newman. Almirola, I mean, that team's been what that team's been. I think that their best finish in this round was 13th. So that's what you're going to get when you
actually, I think.
Yeah, I think 13th, 14th, and 16th were his finishes. I think I remember hearing that post-race. But, and I've been rough because we'll talk about Bowman here in a minute for some other extracurriculars. But tip of the cap to that 88 team. I mean, from where they were lap one, I'm pretty much thinking they're done. I mean, mentally, I think he's already thrown himself out of the ball game, makes a mistake on lap one, spins in front of the field. Obviously, we know some other drama comes on between him and Bubba Wallace. And then all of a sudden, at the end of the race, you're like, where did the 88 car come from? Hadn't even seen him in the top 10. And it's like a helicopter picked up his car and just threw him into the top. And then you're thinking, what is going on here? And then he finishes second.
It's actually the second time this year that the 88 has. I remember something like this is the second time in 2019 where both Hendrick finished 1-2. Both of them, ironically, is Chase Elliott and Alex Bowman in that order. Obviously, Talladega is the first one. Yeah, I don't know where the 88 came from. Like, obviously, he makes a mistake on lap one. He basically dumps Bubba Wallace because Bubba gave him the finger, which apparently, according to somebody, gives it to everyone. And then next thing you know, he's running seconds. Like, what makes it even more worse, though? It's like made it even worse for Bowman. He was already basically in a must. Like, once he got to second, there's nothing he could have done. So once he got to second, he wasn't getting past Chase Elliott. He was like, all right, I got to just got to hope, pray, like I said, like Almirola and Newman, like, they don't do anything. Like we said before, Newman blew the chicane and Almirola, he didn't really do anything. But going back to those who got eliminated, obviously Eric Jones, he's got you want to talk about Kyle Larson not making it past around 12? Eric Jones making it past around 16 is worse in my opinion. I mean, let's think about it. Las Vegas, what was it, like a clutch issue or like a transmission issue? Obviously Richmond, he finished fourth. He got DNF'd. And then this race, he, I know he DNF'd because he got into it. I forgot what wreck that was. I think it was with Hamlin and another driver. I forgot who the other driver was.
The biggest thing for Jones is it's nothing really. It's been in his control. I mean, what the only thing that was in his control was the Richmond race, and he finished fourth. He doesn't help that the car was illegal. I mean, it's not his thing to do. That's what really stinks for that team is, I mean, Jones is a good driver. That's a good team. And once again, they're gone early.
Yeah, and like you said before, Kurt Busch, he gets the DNF out of Las Vegas, and then Richmond, he does absolutely nothing. I know they didn't really do anything at the Rolls because every time they went down pit road, they always had to fix damage on the front end of the car.
Well, then he went out there too. He got wrecked by Busher. I remember when Busher turned somebody. It might have been him. How he didn't kill the wall, I'd have no clue. But he was involved in a wreck. but it was just, whenever you didn't hear of either Bush brother, you didn't really hear of today, which was shocking. But I'm a kind of guy, when you're in that situation, you have nothing to lose. I want to see you gamble, take an opportunity, stay out, pit, do something different than everybody else. And it's like they were just happy with being eliminated and sent home already.
It's like, whatever. And then obviously, like we said, Almirola. I mean, I got Almirola and Newman right because I knew I like Almirola. I mean, Almirola still hasn't finished top 10 since Daytona in July. And Newman, like, I just didn't think that, like I said before, like at episode 1 of NASCAR about numbers, the thing was going to kill Ryan Newman was stage points. And I think he only got stage points during Richmond. And it was going to pan out for him during the Roval, but obviously when we had, like, when pit strategy was actually going on, that long green flag run, which, by the way, I looked it up on Racing Reference. The average green flag run was 7.8 laps. If that doesn't tell you how chaotic this race was, I don't know what will.
Well, early we got some stretches, but at the end, I'm telling you, at the end, we just kept re-racking. Speaking of re-racking, the re-rack I was waiting for, we've got to hit on this before we talk about the current points. Alex Bowman and Bubba Wallace. So I've heard Bubba Wallace gives the finger to a lot of buddies. Now, I have no clue if him and Bowman are friends. I know he's friends with other guys. I have no clue what his relationship with Bowman. But obviously we hear, Bubba gives Bowman the finger, and then Bowman just dumps him coming out of the chicane on the backstretch. Obviously, those two, were heated with each other. We almost got to see them actually get into it on the racetrack, we hope. But then we had a caution, which what cautions were today, I have no entire clue at all. Because one single car crash would be a caution. Another single car crash, we could go green. You go through the grass this time, it's a caution. You go through the grass this time, it's green. I don't really have any clue. And then obviously we see Bowman and Bubba get into it after the race. Well, Bowman was sitting down. He was getting medical attention, and Bubba Wallace just walks up, there's water in his face, which is apparently sending the NASCAR world into a rage right now. But my first comments on this is obviously, you could say I'm a little biased. I'm a Bubba Wallace fan. I don't really have a feeling towards Alex Bowman. He's just kind of one of those guys to me. He's out there. Solid driver, not the greatest, not a championship guy in my opinion, but obviously he can get the job done. So last week, you get into it with the 3-car because you go video game mode and try to make it 4 wide in the turn 1. The 3-car actually punched you and turned you around, didn't damage you, but you talk all this, I'm going to shove that silver spoon here and there, never does anything, and he had the opportunity to do it last week. I specifically remember him passing the 3-car later in the race. So had that opportunity at a short track, which it makes sense to hit somebody at. You're not going to kill him. Okay, this week, so you do nothing when somebody really hits you. This week, Bubba gives you the bird, which I give my coworkers at work every single day. And all of a sudden, I'm going to dump a guy. We're just going to dump him. And then I hear people excuse, well, he was a roadblock. Pass him. What is going on in this playoffs where all of a sudden passing a slower car is too hard to ask? Kyle Busch runs into the back of a lap car at Las Vegas, and people are pissed off at the lap car when he held his line and the faster car didn't pass him. If Bubba Wallace is the roadblock, which in all intents and purposes he is at a road course, Bubba Wallace is not a road course guy. Been fair to know. Though he was actually running fairly solid for him at a road course I think he was in the top half of the field. The 88 just dumps him, just flat out turn. In this case, normally you don't get turned. They normally don't turn left to dump somebody, but here he turned left and dumped him. Just sends Bubba up in the wall. Bubba was able to continue. Fortunately, didn't ruin his day. But what everybody's mad about is Bubba Wallace throwing water at Alex Bowman after the race because he was getting medical attention.
I was actually talking with my buddy Timmy, and he said that the reason that he hates what Bubba did is because he didn't say that he hated Bubba for what he did because because of what he said he did like that because he thinks Bubba Wallace is a pansy for that. It's like, oh, you threw the water at him like a fucking reality show wife or something.
I mean, I get it. I do get it. It's a bad look. I would have rather Bubba talk to him. Bowman's also getting medical attention, though. He can't sit there and have an It would have looked even worse if he tried to have an altercation with Bowman, who's passed out on the ground, who was apparently sick earlier this week. And, I mean, I get it. He probably could have done something different. But nobody's mad at the 88 for dumping the 43. But we're all mad at Bubba for throwing water on him. You know how that Dale Earnhardt always said he was just trying to rattle his cage? I think Bubba was just trying to hydrate his cage. And people, I mean, I get it. I'm biased. I get it. And I try my best not to be biased. And at the end of the day, Bubba probably could have handled it a little bit differently. I would have preferred Bubba either handle it on track the way the 88 decided to, or, talk to him at some point, do something. I'm still hoping the 43 handles it on track. That probably won't happen. I'm sure they'll talk sometime this week. And Bubba, I think's that kind of guy to talk and say, okay, I can calm down. And Bubba will probably wish he handled himself differently when he looks at it differently. We know Bubba's an emotional guy. But for what that team has been through in Richard Petty Motorsports, and to just flat out dump them when there was no need to do it, you could bump them out of the way, but you don't hook a guy. My problem is when you hook a guy. I'm fine with hard racing. I'm fine with bumping and banging. There's no reason to be hooking people unless someone's already hooked you. And that's what he did. But throwing water in the face is the biggest offense people have.
Yeah, in the chat here, NASCAR AD, Justin said Bubba gave Bowman the finger at Richmond. And then Thomas Burnham said Bubba was just helping Bowman cool off. And then just said again, well, Bowman was dehydrated, Bubba wasn't.
I mean, I get it. I mean, I could imagine if I was in that situation, which I've never been in before, where you weren't feeling well, you're already dehydrated. Now it's 130 degrees in the car. I mean, I get it. All right, it was kind of a chicken kind of move. We all get it. But what else is he supposed to do? He's going to confront him. He can't talk to him because he's got medical staff around him. He can't fight him because Bowman's half passed now. All right, so he just throws water in his face. The biggest defense in all of this is that Jeff Gordon got water in his face from this because he was standing across from Bowman. All right. If anything, get mad at Bubba because the GOAT got water on him, not because Bowman got water on him.
Careful, I know a couple people on Twitter that be triggered and say like, "Oh no, he's not the GOAT. Jimmy Johnson's the GOAT. 5 straight. Blah 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 blah."
Yeah, that's true. But anyways, I'll get off of that. I want to look at the playoffs. I want to look at the playoffs moving forward.
All right, let's take a look at the playoff grid.
I'm gonna let you read it off. Obviously, we got Dover, Talladega, Kansas. I'm gonna go ahead and let you read off the playoff grid.
All right, let's take a look here. Shout out to the man Bob Proctor's because that's literally the only place I've been able to find the actual points. Kyle Busch is plus 41 above the cut line. He leads with Truex plus 36, Hamlin plus 25. Then you got Logano and Harvick plus 23. Elliott and Keselowski are both tied for plus 19. And then there's where the gap really, really closes. Larson and Bowman are separated by 1 point. Blaney is -2. Byron -5 and Boyer -6. So basically the Bs are all below the cut line.
The battle of the Bs are at the bottom because that's where they be. I mean, it's going to be a tight battle. You know, to me, it's not as exciting it is exciting of a round just because you do have Talladega. Dover is kind of tame. Kansas, we know, is tame. Next year is going to be crazy because I believe next year Bristol will be the cutoff race, but we'll worry about that next year. You look at what we've got here. I think it's really intriguing. You look at the first two. Busch is plus 41, Truex is plus 36. They're relatively calm. Both of those guys are really experienced in having a big lead. They know how to manage a big points lead. One of those two, well, Busch is not really great at Dover. Truex, we'll see. Like I said, I personally think he peaked too early with back-to-back wins in the first round. But I think obviously he's going to have the points gap to move forward. But I think it gets really interesting when you look third on down. And don't get me wrong, 25 points is a great chunk of points. But it doesn't afford you to just ride around all day at Dover. If you're Kyle Busch or Martin Truex Jr., you can probably just relax at Dover, just be yourself. You don't have to really press it, and you'll be fine. Now, don't get me wrong, Talladega is going to force if there's a shot to win Dover late in the race, drivers are going to do whatever they got to do because you do not want to go to Talladega with the chance that something could go wrong. We know it happens every year. We know after we leave Talladega, there's going to be one of these big name drivers that maybe their back is against the wall, they're below the cut, they're cutting it, they're just above the cut. We know that's going to happen. But the huge battle is eighth on back. I mean, all these guys are separated by 7 points right now. Larson, Bowman, Blaney, Byron, and Boyer. Any of these guys could have easily been eliminated in the first round of the playoffs. They all squeaked through to the second round of the playoffs. And, you don't know what to look for. Bowman, does the drama with Bubba continue moving forward? Dover's a perfect place where Bubba could end his day very quickly. Even if Bubba's getting lapped, there you go. They're going to cross each other's paths at some point. and make it very, very tough. I mean, Byron, that team has started to kick up the heat, but are they going to carry that over to the second round? Boyer, 1 week Boyer looks like Clint Boyer. Another week he looks like he's Corey LaJoy. I don't understand. And that's not a knock on Corey LaJoy. It's more of a knock on where the 32 car is. Corey's a really good driver, but there's weeks where they run 25th. There's weeks where they run in the top 5. You don't know what you're going to get there. Blaney, there's weeks he looks like a world beater. There's weeks why you question why he's in a Penske car. I mean, you truly don't know. And the same thing with Kyle Larson. I mean, Kyle Larson may be the quietest guy left in the playoffs. You almost forget that he's even in the playoffs. And here he goes, sits, and he's actually above the cutoff line.
Also, NASCAR 88 said, Justice said, J.J. Yaley will win the rest of the season at Cup at Xfinity.
J.J. Yaley. I mean, at that point, I think they should just crown him the champion.
Hey, man, I don't know. Cup, maybe. I don't know about Xfinity. I mean, Chad Finchup's my 2019 championship pick.
It's true. Timmy Hill. Timmy Hill's battling for it.
No, Timmy Hill's 2029 champion.
2029 champion. That's looking forward.
All right, yeah. All right. So, yeah, let's take a look at the cutoff line, like I said before. Like I said, I'm going to base it on off. We're going to talk. We'll probably talk about Dover a little bit more in depth than like Talladega and Kansas. But I'm going to take a look mainly at Larson through Boyer because I think Elliott Kozlowski on back are safe. Elliott Kozlowski might be a little bit worrisome because they're only plus 19, but I think they'll fairly be all right. But then again, Kozlowski got eliminated last year, so you never know. Larson, I think his best shot is Dover, in my opinion. I mean, Dover, he's been so good. I nearly won the race, I believe, in 2016 and 2017. So Larson knows how to get around Dover. I think he even finished third in the race this year for top 5 of the season. Bowman, obviously, this entire round, Bowman has finished second. He finished second at Dover, Talladega, Kansas. That's well documented. So Bowman, he's got a great shot to get it past the next round. The question is, can he recreate that same magic that he did at the beginning half of the season? Blaney, he's going to have to rely on Talladega, in my opinion. Blaney's a good racer at Kansas, but he's only good at Kansas when really it's in the night. Because when it comes to the daytime, Blaney isn't really that relevant in Kansas, in my opinion. Though, in my opinion, I think that the day Kansas race is going to race a lot like the night Kansas race or the package before. Because like I said, I don't expect this Kansas race to be at all like. I think this Kansas race is going to be more similar to like the Las Vegas and Atlanta races than the Kansas race earlier because that race was in the night. And Byron, I don't really see anywhere where Byron really shines. I mean, he's not flashy at Kansas. He's not really flashy at Dover. Talladega's Talladega, but I don't really see anything.
He's going to have speed, but can he finish with that speed? I mean, again, Talladega's Talladega. We know he's probably going to qualify in the top 4, if not the pole. Question is, are they going to be able to finish there? That's the really only advantage with Hendrick. I mean, my whole thing is, Kyle Busch and Truex, we know their story. Denny Hamlin's good anywhere you go. Logano, good anywhere you go. Same with Kevin Harvick. Chase Elliott, Dover, statistically his best racetrack. Talladega, when he can avoid wrecks, he's a top 5 driver at Talladega currently. I mean, he won there in the spring. Every single plate race we see the 9 car, he's making moves. He has a fast car. It kind of reminds you back in the day when Jeff Gordon in 2004 and 5 and all them would kind of just – his car was better than everybody else's car, and he could make moves on his own. We've seen that with the 9 car. It's all about can he finish the race. That's what gives him strong. Keselowski's good everywhere, probably the best plate driver in the field. Kansas is a place that I believe he has multiple wins. Kyle Larson, I agree with you. Best shot is Dover. Talladega, he's not really a plate guy. Kansas, if tire wear comes into effect at all, Kansas could give him a shot with that high line, but I think it's going to be too much of wide open racing that it's going to pretty much take away that advantage he would have. And then the 4 below the line, I mean, they're kind of all hit or miss. I mean, there's not a guy that really stands out in that bottom 4. None of these tracks seem to really suit them. Maybe Blaney at Talladega because we know Penske's going to work together. They're going to put themselves in a position to win the race. And who knows, if Keselowski and Logano have a really solid Dover, maybe they try to help that 12 car. I don't think, obviously, only one of 3 could potentially win Dover. So I don't think they're necessarily going to give a win to the 12 car. But if the 12 car is in the hole and the other 2 are sitting okay, you might see a little bit of that teamwork going on. It's definitely something to watch. I mean, the biggest thing here is, me and you were talking beforehand, is we were kind of talking about, like, who can we eliminate this round? to me, there's easily 5 drivers that could easily be eliminated. But the biggest question is every year in this round, we see somebody big fall out. Every year it happens. I don't have the notes in front of me because I just got home about 30 minutes before we started the show. But every year, this is when that first kind of marquee name drops off. And so you got to throw that kink into it. Which one of these guys that has no business in the round of 8 is going to make it to the round of 8?
All right, so let's. Yeah, I mean, I said it before we were on the show. I said in 2014 it was Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jimmy Johnson. 2015 it was Dale Earnhardt Jr. again, and I believe Matt Kenseth also. Yeah, 2015 was Dale Earnhardt Jr. Matt Kenseth. 16 was Truex and Keselowski. 17 was Larson. 18 was Keselowski again. So this, I mean, when we had that Twitter preview a couple of weeks ago before the playoff, I think it was right after Indianapolis, I think, or before Indianapolis. I'm not 100% sure. I gave my playoff prediction. I said that I think Kevin Harvick's going to be the one eliminated. However, thinking more and more in depth into it, it seems to be the ones who do very well in the first round of the playoffs. At least from what I can remember, I think I know Dale Earnhardt Jr. did very well in the first round in 2015. 2016, Truex obviously won Dover and Chicagoland, and he got eliminated. 2017, Larson finished top 5 every race in the first round. And then, obviously, come round 2, he DNFs out of 2 races, and then he only finishes 10th at Charlotte. 2018, Keselowski wins the first race at Vegas, finishes top 5, I believe, the next 2. Oh, actually, no. Yeah, he wins Vegas, and he gets eliminated. So, I guess if we're going to look at, okay, who are the big names that can miss out? Well, to me, there's a couple names. It's going to be Mark Truex Jr. and Kevin Harvick. Because those are, in my opinion, been the 2 strongest in this first 2 rounds. Because Kevin Harvick, he could have easily won the Roval race if Chase Elliott didn't bring the T-Rex car back to life. And he finished top 5, I believe, at Vegas and Richmond also. And then Mark Truex Jr., obviously, he went back-to-back at Richmond and Las Vegas. Well, Vegas and Richmond. And he finished 7th at the Roval. So if we're going based off that trend-wise, then you have to look at primarily those 2. And obviously, like I said, I still have Kevin Harvick. I still think that Kevin Harvick is like the number 1 guy who's going to be out.
You always, boy, you're gutsy making these calls.
Well, you know me, like I always make like some
the last 2 that I could ever see, and here's why. Harvick, because Harvick has probably been the one guy, and really maybe I guess you could say Busch and Truex. Since we've seen this format, they've never choked early. They just never have. Since Truex has been in a competitive car, Truex has made the Final Four, I believe, every year.
Except 2016.
Yep, 2016 he didn't. You're right on that. Kyle Busch, I think he's made it for the most part, at least, if not in the Final Four, battling for the Final Four every year. Kevin Harvick has been in the Final Four, I believe, all but maybe 1 year since this. I've been in it all year. You said there wasn't there 1 year he didn't make it?
Kyle Busch, he didn't make it in 2014. Truex didn't make it in 2016, and neither did Harvick.
So, to me, Harvick has been the one guy we've never seen drop out early. Even when his back has been against the wall, he won. And so it's hard for me to put the 4. Now, what a storyline that would be if either him or Truex fell out, because just storyline-wise, that would benefit the sport tremendously. 2 of the favorites. But the guys that I really have on watch, and these are guys that I don't think they're not my championship picks, clearly. But they're guys that I don't think people just throw out. And that's Brad Keselowski and Denny Hamlin. Those are 2 guys that we've seen. Hamlin all of a sudden has not really been strong. I think today he had a couple of spins. Didn't look real great. Keselowski is a guy that 1 week, he can win 3 races in a row. Look at what he did last year. He won 2 or 3 races or 3 out of 4 races. Then he was done. And this very round we're about to enter, he was done. He got eliminated in the round of 12. I could easily see that happening again. That team has been strong, but they haven't been that strong. They're probably due a win. You may be at a place like Talladega or Kansas. But I think Keselowski we could see gone. I think, Hamlin we could see gone. Maybe even Chase Elliott if things don't fall right, even though I think the 9 team is they're peaking at a good time. I think it's weird. I think still I like a guy that's going to peak at the end of this round going into the second to last round. So I'm a weird kind of guy. So in a sense, I would have loved for Chase Elliott to hold this win to next round because it puts you into the round of 8. Now, obviously, you can't guarantee that you're ever going to win a race. But let's say you're going to pick, I know I'm going to win a race the rest of the year. Why waste it in the last race of the first round when you already locked yourself in on points? Go next week and win at Dover, which he did last year. Maybe he'll do it again. We'll see. I'm weird like that. But the guys that I really have out, I think the common sense guys that you've got to put out, I mean, is Larson, Bowman, Byron, and Boyer. And the guy that I have making it only because really Talladega and maybe Kansas, I have Blaney. I could easily see Blaney going home. The Battle of the Bees, as we talked about, the Battle of the Bees and then Larson are the kind of the guys, the bottom five. I expect 4 out of the bottom 5 to be gone. But one of those guys has got to make it. That's going to be the tricky part, and that battle is going to be tricky.
Let's take a look at here again. Yeah, we got Larson. So here's who I got. So I like to pick 2 guys who I'm confident are going to be eliminated. Then I pick like the other. Then I basically go like base out the rest of like, okay, who has a better shot at making it? The 2 that I'm confident are making it, in my opinion, are William Byron and Ryan Blaney. Like I said before, kind of like with the last round where I thought Ryan Blaney was going to be eliminated. Ryan Blaney escaped this round. He basically did what Truex did last year, where it's like Truex only made about like single-digit points. Same thing Ryan Blaney did this year. I think it's going to be very similar. We're in the sense of like he's going to have to rely on Talladega, in my opinion, because he's not great at Dover. He's good at Kansas, but really only when it's at the nighttime. And obviously, we know the playoff race is in the day. So, unless he wins Talladega, which could very well see happen. I mean, we see Blaney do very well at Talladega. I think he led the most laps in 2017. I know it was in 2017, either in the spring or the fall race. He led the most laps. I think he even won stage 2 at one point when he was with the Wood Brothers. I know he's with the Wood Brothers at the time. So he could very easily win Talladega. And Byron, like you said before, like he needs to show that speed throughout the entire race. I mean, he can get points to stage 1, maybe even stage 2, but if he doesn't get the finishing results at the end of the race, he ain't gonna go nowhere. As for like Boyer and Bowman, Boyer mainly based off experience, but like you said, like Boyer, he's either doing really good or like he's trying to do his best dreidel impersonation. And then Alex Bowman. The main reason I don't have Alex Bowman as one of the 2 I'm confident being gone is because of his runner-up finishes in Talladega, Dover, and Kansas. Talladega, like we say, is a wild card. Kansas, it was because of the night. But he ran so well at Dover, and that's the thing. Like I said, Dover is a driver's track. And he was running top 5 basically the entire Dover race. And I think he even almost won stage 1 or stage 2. But I think because lap traffic held him up, he gave up the stage 1 to Truex. So,
I mean, one thing you've got to also consider about Bowman is Bowman just finished second and was a Ryan Newman making the chicane away from still not making it. I mean, it's not like Bowman has been ironclad. I mean, he did his job. He got through the next round. I just don't think Bowman's ready to – I don't think he's that kind of driver to make a deep run. I don't think he's ready to make a deep run. Same thing with Byron. I just don't think that – I think Byron – now, that team has taken a huge step up this year. Chad Knaus has been a great addition for William Byron. We've seen what they've done. I think he had 5 poles this year. It's like a young Ryan Newman right now. I just don't think that team's ready to make a run. I think Blaney's – I've said it for years. Blaney is too inconsistent. Nobody else wants to say it, but he's too inconsistent, especially for a Penske driver. Larson is the exact same one, exact same way. And then Boyer's kind of – we've said it. Really these guys right here are so inconsistent, you don't know how to read them. And you've got to be consistent. And especially in this round with Talladega, you truly have a wild card. The Roval is one heck of a wild card, but – at least you can still somewhat control your destiny. We saw Chase Elliott single-handedly control his destiny today. He was a good enough driver, had a good enough car that he drove his way through the field really 1.5 times, from starting mid-pack to all of a sudden having to go all the way through the field after him just missing turn 1. Okay? At Talladega, you don't have that control. I mean, we've seen at one point Brian Vickers wrecked his own teammate on accident in 2006 or 7, whenever that was. There's nothing they could do about it. There's nothing Jimmy Johnson could have done, nothing Dale Jr. could have done. They just all got wrecked. That Talladega is that kind of place. One guy makes a mistake, everybody's done for the day. And that's going to be the hard part is I trust in the guys that are consistent. The guys that are top 6, 7 in points, they're consistent. And these guys that are below them are so inconsistent that you really can't buy into them.
Also, shout out to the man, Thomas Burton again. When I said that, I saw Kevin Harvick eliminate. He's like, Harvick eliminated this round. Gonna have what you're smoking the next 3 tracks he's won at. If you want to smoke it, meet me at the back alley on Pines Boulevard, and then we'll do the deal there.
Listen, I mean, great for the sport wise and marketing wise and getting eyeballs. It would be fantastic if either Harvick, Truex, or Kyle Busch were done. Unfortunately, I just don't see that happening. Those guys are so good. You know, Kyle Busch is due a win sometime in the next 3 or 4 weeks. It's been since midsummer since he's won. Kevin Harvick is just Kevin Harvick. He's so good, so consistent, takes care of business, does not make mistakes, as long as his pit crew doesn't put him in a bad spot. And they're not going to put him in a bad spot 3 weeks in a row. And then you look at Martin Truex Jr., who is the exact same way. Martin Truex does not make mistakes like that anymore. Now, the old Martin Truex did. The new Martin Truex does not. Now, he gets himself caught in situations, but that team usually rebounds fairly solid now. So, listen, I'm all for you making the gutsy calls. That's a hot take. I got to give you that one. That's a hot take.
I should bet some money on it, like I should have bet on Logano at Homestead.
And here's the thing that is playing in your favor. This is what, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. This is the 6th year of this format. We've never really seen a big exit like that this early. It's going to happen eventually. It's going to happen. That's the way sports work. It's going to, eventually we knew that a 16 seed would knock off a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Now, it took a bajillion years, but it happened. Last year it happened. Virginia got sent home. I think it was Virginia got sent home as a number 1 seed. It happens all the time. Crazy things happen. And especially this year when you look at the playoff grid, instead of like last year, the year before, where 3 or 4 drivers had 30 or plus point leads, I mean, third on back has to already be watching what they're doing heading into Dover. I mean, you have to be watching no matter any week. But, you know, Hamlin, Logano, Harvick, 3 big names, they've all 3 got to be paying attention. They cannot just walk through Dover. They've got to have good days because Byron Blaney, Bowman, Boyer, some of those guys are going to get stage points. Stage points throw a complete wrench into this whole entire thing. And even though it's crazy that I think you're picking Truex or Harvick being gone, one of these days it's due to happen. Everything, if you see it, everything happens at least once at some point. Who would have ever thought we'd see a jet dryer explode in the Daytona 500? But guess what? It happened. I mean, everything eventually – Paul Menard won a cup race. Everything eventually can and will happen.
Justin Haley won with Spire Motorsports.
One of these days, we're going to see that shocking first-round exit. I mean, it's just going to happen. So even though I don't think this is the year it's going to happen, because, again, I'm using common sense. Common sense, we didn't think Ryan Newman would really be a point away, or it should have been a point away from making the next round. So, I mean, who knows? It's going to be a damn good next round. And, I mean, for all intents and purposes, I hope your prediction is right. I hope it's right because the conversations that would be had and the discussion would be huge. And it would completely open the door for a guy like a Chase Elliott who I don't think's ready for a championship, but you take out one of those other bullets in his way, the door's open. So, I mean, that could be a big conversation piece because it's going to happen eventually.
All I'm saying is that if Kevin Harvick gets eliminated from this round, because I know like everyone's gonna like be saying like, "Oh, Harvick got eliminated, Harvick got eliminated, Harvick." They're all gonna be so shocked. I'm just gonna sit here like, "I'll take my paycheck, please."
I'm gonna tell you this: when we get off of this here in about 2 or 3 minutes, first thing you need to do is you need to go tweet out exactly what you just said. Kevin Harvick will be eliminated in this round, and you need to pin that tweet. All right, and then in 3 weeks, if it's right, you need to go bet on something. Because clearly
forget what we get off. I'm doing it right now.
Clearly something is going to happen. If you could predict that, something good is going to happen in your life.
All right. By the way, the tweet is up now at Velocity WRM. By the way, pin the profile. Kevin Hart. That's the hot take. Kevin Harvick is being eliminated in the round of 12. That's my hot take. Will it happen? Probably not, but I'm confident it's going to happen. Like we said before. I mean, who thought that Larson would be eliminated after the round of 12 in 2017 with 4 wins on the season? And like it's like the Eric Jones situation. None of them were really of his doing. In Charlotte he finished 10th, which ain't the best, but it's still top 10. And then Talladega he gets murdered by Suarez, and then 2018, his engine decides to go smoke some marijuana on him.
Shame.
That hurt to watch. I'm not gonna lie, that hurt to watch.
Oh,
and I remember
your prediction.
And I remember 2016 on the back of my head. mainly because of Jimmy Johnson win the championship. Like us Jimmy Johnson fan, we always say that if you're a Jimmy Johnson fan, you're a Dylan Lupton fan.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so yeah, that'll conclude this edition of NASCAR by the Numbers. We'll see you guys next week. Well, we don't know exactly which time yet, but we'll see you guys next week either for a preview.
We're gonna quit giving you times, and then something always happens. So we're gonna fill it out.
Either I'm working or something.
Disclaimer: I do not advocate this man's predictions. Okay.
Yeah, if Kevin Harvick gets eliminated, you're going to start doing that. I can tell you that much.
Anyways, it's been fun. Best race of the year. Keep staying active on Twitter and talking about it. It's been awesome. I'm out of here.
All right. Take care, folks.